watching the IUP TV News Bulletin, bringing you stories relevant to IUP and the Indiana community on Channels 6 and 20.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining our news broadcast from Davis Hall. My name is Hannah Holland.
And I'm Thomas Rainey, bringing you stories relevant to IUP and the Indiana community. We will broadcast this program every Thursday for the rest of the semester.
This week is Research Week here at IUP. Various activities have been held since Monday, from research training to research presentations. This year is particularly interesting with the inclusion of arts performances. About 200 researchers from different departments participated in the Scholar Forum that took place on Wednesday. Nafisa Suleiman, a graduate student from ComMedia, presented research about Twitter in Nigeria. This is the 18th time IUP has held this activity. Presenters who were interested could choose to participate in oral presentations or poster presentations. In addition to IUP undergraduate and graduate students, at least 30 students from local high schools also participated.
I'm at the Scholars Forum. I am coming here to look at some posters. I haven't looked at any yet. I'm hoping to see some interesting stuff. I'm excited to look at the anthropology stuff and the bio stuff, as that's my two majors.
I don't think we're at the point of sentient AI yet, but I think that if we ever are, these will be useful. And I think these are useful in assessing moral stances to begin with, because whatever ethical code we give robots is going to reflect the ethical code that we find to be the most relevant for ourselves.
I did a presentation and I had 20 minutes, and I thought 20 minutes is too long for that, but before you know it, it's over. But I was glad I was able to time myself, to finish really on time and allow room for some questions. And those questions were also superb, because there are some of the questions that really make me thinking, okay, how do I make things better? What do I need to incorporate? Why did I do what I did? Which at the time I was writing the paper, none of that made sense. But now, through the questions, I was able to take some of that to see how I can improve, maybe on that same paper, or maybe in the future if I'm writing a similar paper.
What I found most compelling is how Seoul's explanation of visions can account for political division, and it explains to a large extent why people disagree on seemingly unrelated issues. So these sort of just different assumptions about human nature are what Seoul argues account for a lot of political disagreement, and the fact that these assumptions tend to cluster in these two groups explains political partisanship.
So yeah, I work with Dr. Major, and he works with planarians and tissue regeneration, and so I was really drawn to it as far as just the model system and how it's able to recover from injury and regrow after amputation, and so that's kind of how I got drawn to this project, yeah. Really just how unique this model system is, with being able to be a very quick model system to study.
I'm Levi Donaldson for IUP News.
PA lawmakers are proposing a bill that would incentivize businesses to try 4-day work weeks with their employees. The goal is to try to make Pennsylvania more competitive by giving companies an advantage when it comes to keeping and attracting workers. Hopping on the trend, Allentown Mayor Matt Truitt recently called a move for the city employees to work on a 4-day week. Lawmakers say the official bill could be introduced in a few weeks, and that it may get bipartisan support.
New construction on Wayne Avenue will begin early next week. The Pennsylvania Department of Transportation announced on Tuesday about this resurfacing project that is expected to be completed by mid-May. Wayne Avenue will be restricted to a single lane in each direction, and the work will consist of milling and patching operations, minor drainage upgrades, and paving. This is the first phase of the project and will focus on the stretch of Wayne Avenue between the State Route 119 ramps and Indian Springs Road.
Over the weekend, Pennsylvania trout fishing season officially began. The first day of trout meant many people flocked to different areas to experience a weekend of fishing. Reporter Ryan Carter had the opportunity to go and cover the story.
Pennsylvania trout fishing season officially began on April 1st. Many fishermen fled to areas known for their stocked fishing spots and seclusion. A popular area for fishing is Fisher, PA, about 20 minutes outside of Clarion, Pennsylvania. Jordan Timmons, who is an avid fisherman, met up with a group of his friends to experience a weekend full of fishing and fun. He explained to me why the sport is so popular and what brings people back every year.
Just the rush when you feel that little nibble on the end of your line, you just start reeling it in. Yeah, I mean, just hanging out with your friends. You don't get a lot of quality time without, being on your phones all the time. So just getting to be outside and hanging out with friends.
While the weekend was full of fishing, one might be surprised to learn that the weekend is about much more than just the fish. The camaraderie, food, and activities that come along with it is what brings many people to their cabins. Devin Knock, who doesn't fish, shared with me why he decided to come along for the trip.
Normally not a trout fisher, it just came up this year. First time, actually. Buddy's got a cabin up in Clarion, so figured I'd give it a go, come up, got nice weather, give it my first go. Not a big fisher, but figured if it's the time, I'll go ahead and try it. It's just nice being up here out of the city area where I'm used to. Being in the woods, no phone service, you're not sitting on your phone 24/7, you're just hanging out with your buddies. We got guns out here, shooting cans, shooting bottles, going fishing, probably ride some dirt bikes this weekend, just have a good time.
Some of these fishermen have very different experiences than others. Lucas Florin, a Denmark citizen, told me about his experiences between his home country's sport and Pennsylvania's.
Probably just catching the fish is really cool, and just honestly also just the chillness of just throwing out the rod and just having a good time, I'll say I don't know, the whole vibe of it, bringing out the beers while going fishing, and I don't know, it's just more chill. Whereas in Denmark, it's more it's more for the sport, whereas here it's more for the companionship.
In the end, the weekend trips that are planned to bring home fish have much more in store. The cooking of food is another major part of the weekend. Food brings together people, and fishing trips like this are no different. While they hit the streams, lakes, and creeks, the fishermen come home ready to delve into a home-cooked meal that is shared and enjoyed by all. One thing is true about a fishing weekend. The fish may be why they are here, but the friends is what keeps them coming back. This is Ryan Carter in Fisher, PA for IUP News.
Johnson & Johnson proposed paying almost $9 million to thousands of people who sued the company for causing cancer. The allegation, especially directed to their baby powder containing talc, caused users to develop cancer. The company has not admitted wrongdoing in these suits, but in 2021, they paid a jury award of $2.1 billion based on a 2018 data that showed 22 women suffered from ovarian cancer after using the talc powder. Johnson & Johnson made the payment after the U.S. Supreme Court declined to hear its appeal. If approved, this would be one of the largest product liability settlements in United States history.
A 50-year-old deaf man was last seen Monday morning after being separated from a hiking group near Strawberry Peak in the San Gabriel Mountains. A tracking dog helped the responders locate the man. The rescue crews used hand signals to rescue the deaf hiker, who was stranded in the forest for more than a day. The man was injured and clinging to a tree. The victim was airlifted to a hospital and is expected to be okay.
Today is National Walking Day. It was created to encourage Americans of all ages to get out and get their hearts pumping. Our very own Meg Carpenter has the story.
The first Wednesday of April is recognized as National Walking Day, a day celebrating going outside and being active, even if it is just walking. Fortunately, for the Indiana community, the Co-op Park is a beautiful place for exercise. The Co-op Park is 3 miles away from the IUP campus and is 281 acres of gorgeous woodlands and fields. There are 10 miles of hiking and walking trails that are easily accessible and aren't difficult to complete. And with the weather getting warmer, today is a great day to go to the park. However, most of Indiana doesn't utilize the park to its fullest potential. The Co-op Park is often barren, with its only users being members of Greek life or certain classes. Billy Taylor has recently been coming to the park to admire its beauty via taking photos.
Well, I came to the Co-op Park to take photos because there's a lot of nice, natural landscapes and stuff. It's a very nice forest, and, it's a great place to get photos, especially some of the open areas with sunlight. It's good at, golden hour and stuff. It's a great place to take photos. My favorite thing about park, I think, is taking hikes in the park, because I took a Life on Earth class here at IUP a while ago, and we did some bird watching and like walking around the trails over here in the co-op park, and it's really nice. I think probably only a few people come to the park because it's pretty far, and because campus doesn't offer a lot of services to get here. You know, it's a little out of the way for most college students, but if you have a car or transportation that you want to take out here, it's a great thing to do for the day.
Photographers aren't the only ones allowed to treasure the park. Michael Daniel has been coming here simply to get out of the house.
I always have loved the outdoors. I mean, ever since I was a child, I've always loved the outdoors. I come from more of a rural area. So being in Indiana, although it's not like a massive town, it is bigger than what I'm used to. So I come to the park for more of like a relaxation / getaway of sorts. It's very peaceful as there's not a lot of noise. The leaves are like beautiful here in the fall. Just the peace and quiet that you can like get out here, especially for how like not far outside of Indiana it is. And I think that's to do with the valley-like shape of the park. It is a little bit out of the way. So for students to get out here, it is kind of you have to either have a car or have someone drive you, or Uber or anything like that to get out. I feel like it could be solved with like maybe a bus stop or something along those lines to help get people out here and help make it more accessible for people if they want to come out here.
So, for National Walking Day, how about we all get outside and see what fun memories the Co-op Park can offer us? I'm Meg Carpenter, reporting for IUP News.
Finland officially became the 31st member of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO. This accession was a clear blow to Russian President Vladimir Putin, who is currently at war with Ukraine. Prior to Tuesday, Russia shared about 733 miles of land border with 5 NATO members, but with Finland's addition, that amount is more than doubled. This decision was welcomed by many world leaders, but Russia warned that this expansion of NATO would not bring more stability to Europe and that they will scale up forces near Finland if the alliance sent any troops or equipment to the new member country.
While archaeologists from the University of Tübingen were helping the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities restore the Temple of Anissa, they uncovered ancient Egyptian murals depicting the zodiac signs beneath 2,000 years of grime and soot. The archaeologists found complete depictions of all 12 zodiac signs. Other reliefs in the temple show constellations, stars, and other planets. The group says that the murals are very well preserved.
The Hub Fitness Center is the go-to place on campus for students to work out. The cardio machines will keep your heart rate pumping. And there is plenty of equipment for strength training of your choice. Our functional training rooms will help you keep your core in shape. From strength training to cardio, this is the place to go to stay fit.
Welcome back to another episode of Indie Rockers Ball.
Hey, if you're an IUP student looking for hands-on experience in the TV studio, then IRB is the place for you. Here the students are fully in charge of hosting live performances for local bands, reviews and educational indies music, guitar lessons, and more. It's a great way to gain experience and do what you love. So how about it? How about joining IRB today? See you then. Bye.
On March 30th, President Driscoll held a town hall meeting alongside the vice presidents for enrollment management and administration and finance, detailing their comprehensive plan process document. This document detailed IUP's recent financial struggles, which the three credit largely due to falling enrollment. President Driscoll explained that demographic changes are the cause for this because fewer people are having kids and less people are going to college due to cost and a belief that they do not need a college education. The plan to fix this includes ensuring student success to increase the retention rate of enrolled students, cutting needless spending, and relying on retirements instead of any more retrenchments or furloughs.
WIUP-FM, Indiana's very own college radio station, will be participating in an event called Vinyl-thon on Saturday, April 22nd and 23rd. Vinylthon is an event where DJs from participating stations play vinyl for 24 hours. The event is organized by the College Radio Day Foundation, a nonprofit based in New Jersey. The founder of the College Radio Day, Rob Quickie, said the event is to remind everyone that vinyls are still important, in hopes that the event shows the significance of a college student-run radio.
The Homer City Generating Station will decommission all coal units over the next 90 days. The plant is one of many recently to close, and the shock will certainly be felt throughout the community. The company says the decision comes after the latest federal emission limits were put in place, imposing what they call an excessive economic and operations burden. 130 employees will be impacted by the closure, and the company stated that tiered layoffs will be put in place over the 90 days it remains open. The plant was the largest coal-operated power plant in the state and was one of the largest generators of tax revenue for Homer City and Center Township.
There has been 34 brush fires this year across Indiana County. This past weekend, much of western Pennsylvania, including Indiana, experienced wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Complications from these incredibly strong wind gusts included downed power lines, falling trees, road closures, power outages, and more. On the IUP campus near North Dining Hall, a massive tree collapsed. Fortunately, nobody was injured and there was no damage to buildings on campus. However, it was still a frightening situation nonetheless. Also yesterday afternoon, a downed tree caused a large brush fire near Blacklick Township, which in turn led to power outages across Indiana County. REA Energy shut off power shortly after the fire, resulting in 90% of their customers being without power. A second brush fire was reported in Montgomery Township around 1:01 p.m., and it sent Glen Campbell Fire Department to a location along Williams Road. Fire officials said someone was burning debris in the area, but lost control of it, resulting in a 50 by 50 foot area catching fire. Crews quickly controlled the fire and were on the scene for approximately 20 minutes.
And now for your weekly weather report. Today is cloudy with rain showers, a high of 63 and a low of 38. Tomorrow we shouldn't expect rain, but clouds and a high temperature of 54 with a low of 35. Saturday will also be cloudy with a high of 55 and a low of 30 at night. Sunday and Monday should both be clear skies with highs of 60 and 65 respectively. Into the middle of next week, we will see the temperature climbing back up into the mid-70s, hopefully indicating that our albeit mild winter is over.
For the past few days, temperatures have been ranging from the 20s to the 80s, so it's hard to figure out what to wear. Our reporter Chloe Pilston has some tips.
Spring is here, and that means fashion choices are changing. Students are hanging up their winter coats and getting excited for the warmer weather. When walking through campus, you will see many different fashion choices that change as the seasons do. There have also been many fashion trends that have made their way back into style, such as cargo pants, maxi skirts, and even denim on denim. I asked Isabella Locke, a freshman interior design major, what her favorite trend that recently made its way back into style is.
My favorite fashion trend that has recently been back in style, I would have to say, is the baggy jeans. I don't know. I love them now. As you can see, I'm wearing them, so.
Some trends people love, but others may rather keep them locked away in the closet. I asked Haley Lee, a junior sociology major, what her least favorite fashion trend is that she sees on campus.
I would say my least favorite fashion trend is probably low-rise jeans. Just not for me. I don't like them. I don't like that they're back in trend, but hopefully it stops soon.
Many people have opinions on what they feel fashion is, but what's most important is that you feel comfortable and confident in what you choose to wear. With warm weather approaching, it is certain that you will see more styles and trends popping up all over campus. This is Chloe Pilston reporting for IUP TV News.
After the break, we will go to our sports correspondent, Gavin Richards, for his report.
And we will have our story about the up-and-coming holiday of Easter.
Need a place to study? You should come to the Stapleton Library at IUP. Stapleton has various places for students to get work done. There are individual cubicles and areas if students want to work alone. Also, there are multiple group areas for collaboration. It's a good place to get schoolwork done, and it beats sitting in your room.
The 2023 NCAA Men's March Madness has officially come to a close, with UConn defeating San Diego State 76-59 in the national championship. San Diego State started out pretty hot, but they quickly faded, going more than 11 minutes without a single made basket. The Aztecs made the Huskies work for points, but UConn was simply the better team, just as they were the last 5 games previous. The Pirates are off to a great start with a record of 3-2 after defeating the Boston Red Sox 4-1 last night at Fenway Park. The Buccos are looking to sweep the Sox in their 3-game series. Brian Reynolds continues to stay hot as he becomes their 3rd Pirate since 1960 with 4 home runs in the first 5 games of the season. Game 3 will be played at 1:35 today in Boston. The Penguins are still battling to stay in playoff contention as they lost to the New Jersey Devils last night 5-1. The Pens are now 5th in the Metropolitan Division, only being a few games behind the division leaders. The Pens play the Minnesota Wild tonight at 7 in the PPG Paints Arena. This is Gavin Richards bringing you everything sports from IUP TV. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Gavin, for that report. Sports of all kinds are present here at IUP. The women's lacrosse team is looking very promising this year, and Gavin was able to cover that story.
IUP's women's lacrosse season has just gotten started, and we couldn't be more excited to watch them progress through the year. Our eyes are on Maddie Schramm, the freshman goalkeeper, who has been seeing a lot of the field recently. So far, IUP is 3-3 overall, with some games that have come down to the last seconds. Our offense is looking promising, with Catherine Burke on the attack, while Schramm and the defense are there to back her up. The Hawks' offense has led them to their last 2 consecutive wins over Gannon and Edinburgh, coming out on top big, scoring a combined 36 goals between both games. We asked number 17, Jordan Culp, what her thoughts were on the offense this year.
We're continuing with our old plays on attack, but we have also added some new ones, which I think have been working very well. We also just have a lot of incoming freshman attackers this year, so we're very attack heavy. Yeah. So that's very exciting for this year. Overall, not just for attack-wise, but I think our mindset is just different this year. I think everyone here wants to be here and wants to do well, and I think that just is very different from past years, and I think attack as a whole is going to work very well together this year.
As important as offense is, without a stellar defense to back them up, the offense cannot play to their full potential. We asked Maggie Marsteller about what her thoughts were on how the defense has changed since last season.
A little bit of both. We have a continuation with returners coming back and then a new freshman coming in, which is good. She's been really helpful. We've done zone, our old zone we've continued. We've started with a new zone, which has been working really well. So that's exciting. And then just keeping with our normal regular sets of defense.
This year's team has a lot of upside, and there is no telling how high their ceiling is. The plan is to make a push for playoffs and make a run to the championship. When the offense is putting up high-scoring numbers and the defense is locked in and ready, this is a scary team to face. IUP is surely capable of a championship. This is Gavin Richards reporting for IUP News.
Easter is this Sunday, and students are looking forward to the holiday to spend time with friends and family. Levi Donaldston spoke with some students about what it means to them and what traditions they do for the holiday.
Easter is upon us once again, and spring is beginning to bloom. While life grows all around us, the Christian community celebrates Christ's life and resurrection in the form of Easter, a widespread holiday. This is Tatiana, a local Christian student.
So Easter to me is really more than a single day. I think it's more of a week where we celebrate starting with Palm Sunday up until Easter Sunday or Resurrection Sunday. So for me as a Christian, this is an important time. We celebrate Palm Sunday where Jesus entered Jerusalem up until the time where he was crucified on Good Friday and then resurrected on Easter Sunday. Unfortunately, this Good Friday I have to work, so I won't be able to attend, but on Sunday I do plan on attending my church's service, and it's pretty exciting because our church replanted. We're called Anchor Church in Indiana, and we've been meeting at our pastor's house for the past couple months, and this Sunday, Easter Sunday, will be the first Sunday that we are going to be meeting in our new building, which will be at the Chevy Chase Community Center, so I'm really excited for that.
This is Seth, a local Christian student.
After Jesus was killed, Easter is the third day in which he rose again from the grave. And that's about all I know about that. I don't know where the bunny came from, how that relates to anything Jesus, especially the hiding of eggs. I'm not sure how that relates to Jesus. We always had the decorating of like boiled eggs. We would boil the eggs and then decorate them, and then my brother would typically, or my parents would hide them around the yard. We would search for them. We rarely had the plastic eggs that I see a lot of people having. I think we've already done one egg hunt. It was like pre-Easter. But probably we're going to do something. You know, when Ezra grows up, we're going to do an egg hunt for her.
Whether you celebrate Easter or not, I hope you have a great Sunday this week. I'm Levi Donaldson for IUP News.
And that's going to be it for us this week at IUP News. In association with students looking for careers in the communications media field, I'm Thomas Rainey.
And I'm Hannah Holland. We're your hosts for today. Please take care and have a safe weekend.